Some say the Corvette C8 is America's belated answer to Ferrari, a proper mid-engine supercar for the masses, or at least the slightly less rich masses. I, however, decided to embark on a truly perilous experiment. Could this slice of Kentucky Fried Exotica actually serve as a daily driver? For 6 long months, I swapped my sensible shoes for driving loafers. The mission to discover if you can genuinely live with a C8 every single day, through rain, shine, and the dreaded supermarket run. This is not a track test. This is a survival guide. The idea was simple, if a little unhinged. Take one gleaming Corvette C8. Subject it to the mundane torture of daily life, attempting to load it with the weekly shop without resorting to strapping bread to the roof. We're about to find out if the Corvette C8 is a daily champion or a daily catastrophe. The first few weeks with the Corvette C8 were, predictably, a whirlwind. Every journey felt like an event. The engine, a glorious thumping V8, announced my arrival, and sometimes my departure from 3 streets away. Heads turned, phones came out, small children pointed, their faces a mixture of awe and terror. It was like being a minor celebrity, but without the hassle of actually having any talent. The sheer novelty of having something so overtly sporty, so unashamedly, as my daily transport was intoxicating. However, as the weeks turned into months, the C8 began to shed its exotic mystique. Slowly, it started to feel less like a spaceship and more like, well, a car. The daily commute, initially a thrilling blast, became a slightly more frustrating crawl, the V8 grumbling impatiently in stop-start traffic. The car's presence is undeniable, and that's a double-edged sword for daily use. The honeymoon phase did eventually wane, as it always does. The C8 became less of an exotic toy and more of a known quantity. Let's be absolutely clear. The performance of this Corvette C8 is utterly, magnificently, intoxicatingly brilliant. That 6.2-liter V8, sitting right behind your head, isn't just an engine, it's a symphony of internal combustion. Every prod of the accelerator unleashes a bellow that could wake the dead, or at least annoy your neighbors. The acceleration is savage. Not to 60, it happens before you've finished blinking. On any road, at almost any speed, there's just this colossal wave of torque ready to hurl you at the horizon. It makes overtaking lorries an absolute dawdle. It makes joining motorways an event. It makes even the most boring commute feel briefly like a hot lap. Then there's the design. Say what you like about American cars, but this C8 looks like a proper supercar. It's got the mid-engine proportions, the aggressive angles, the sheer road presence of something costing 3 times as much. Park it next to a similarly priced German saloon, and the saloon suddenly looks like a fridge on wheels. It turns heads everywhere. It's a lot of bang for your buck. Now, for the bits that make daily driving a Corvette C8 an adventure. Let's start with practicality, or the lack thereof. Cargo space is challenging. The frunk might fit a small bag or helmet. The rear trunk gets rather warm. Fine for shopping bags, but not ice cream. Ingress and egress, graceful it is not. Visibility reminds you it's not a hatchback. Rear visibility is atrocious. You rely on mirrors and the reversing camera. Parking in tight spots is nerve-wracking. These are the daily realities brochures omit. Over the 6 months of daily drudgery, has the Corvette C8 thrown any major tantrums? Well, I'm pleased and frankly a little surprised to report that it's been remarkably well behaved. No catastrophic breakdowns, no embarrassing moments stranded by the side of the road with smoke billowing from somewhere it shouldn't. There have been a few minor electronic gremlins, as mentioned. The odd sensor having a funny 5 minutes, a warning light that appeared and then mysteriously vanished after a restart. Typical modern car stuff, really. Nothing that required a panicked call to the dealer or a tow truck. Maintenance so far has been fairly straightforward. The first service wasn't due within the 6-month period, but I've kept a keen eye on oil levels and tire pressures, as one should with any performance car. Tire wear, especially on the rears if you're enthusiastic with the throttle, is something to watch. These are big, sticky lumps of rubber, and they won't be cheap to replace. The build quality, for the most part, feels solid. So, after 6 months of using the Corvette C8 as my one and only car, through thick and thin, the big question looms. Would I do it all again? Would I willingly sign up for another half year of compromised practicality, occasionally challenging visibility, and the constant need to find wider than average parking spaces? The answer, perhaps surprisingly, is a resounding probably. Yes, with a few caveats. It hasn't been a completely seamless experience. There were days when I longed for the anonymous comfort of a big German estate car, especially when trying to load flat-pack furniture, or when stuck in a torrential downpour peering through that small rear window. The compromises are real. The lack of significant cargo space is a genuine daily hindrance if you need to carry more than a briefcase and a prayer. Getting in and out requires a certain technique, and it's not always elegant. The ride can be firm, making some journeys less relaxing than they could be. And the attention, while often fun, can sometimes be a bit much when you just want to blend in. These are not insignificant drawbacks for a car you rely on every single day. It demands that you adapt your life to it, rather than the other way around. However, the sheer joy this car delivers, even on the most mundane trips, is hard to overstate. That V8 soundtrack is addictive. So there you have it. 6 months with America's mid-engined hero, the Corvette C8, a roller coaster of V8 noise, parking anxieties, and driving thrills. The good, the bad, and the slightly annoying. Performance that makes your heart sing, practicality that makes your head hurt. It demands attention from onlookers and its driver. Not the easiest car to live with, but one of the most rewarding. But what do you think? Am I mad for using this as a daily driver, or is there genius in making every trip feel like a Hollywood scene? Have you daily driven something equally unsuitable yet brilliant? I'd love to hear your stories and opinions. Perhaps you own a C8 and have a different take. Is the Corvette C8 the ultimate daily driver? Probably not for most people. It asks too much in terms of compromise, but for the right person it can be a hugely entertaining daily driver. It bridges the gap between weekend toy and everyday transport, a flawed diamond, but a diamond nonetheless. And don't forget to share your thoughts with Cadillac Bob.